Bible, a grown-up fairy tale book, right? So the definition of fairy tale is a children's story about magical and imaginary beings and lands. Another definition is something resembling a fairy tale in being magical, idealized, and extremely happy, right? Now check this definition out. A fabricated story, especially one intended to deceive. It's a lot of deceiving going on in that book. It's a lot of claims that's made in that book, right? A lot of unproven claims. A lot of claims that don't even go on today. A lot of things that has not been proven. Just a bunch of extraordinary unproven claims in that book. Something resembling a fairy tale being magical. Let's talk about magical. We got donkeys talking, right? Donkeys magically talking in that book. We got serpents magically talking in that book. What else we got? We got whales swallowing people whole, and the person sitting inside the whale's stomach for 3 days. Then the whale magically spits the person out, and the person is totally fine and all put together. It just sat inside the whale's stomach for 3 days. We got magical virgin births. Huh? Something resembling a fairy tale in being magical, idealized, or extremely happy. We got Jesus moonwalking on water, right? We got niggas taking rides and putting them in a full body of water, and water just magically going up in the air so people can magically just walk across to the other side. No. Water in the air. I'm gonna walk across. Fuck out of here. We got magical burning bushes talking, right? A children's story about magical and imaginary beings. It's the definition of a fairy tale. Let's remove a children's story and let's add an adult story about magical and imaginary beings and lands. We can't prove nobody in that Bible exists in reality. There's no graves of nobody. We have mummies that's older than that Bible and older than these stories in different parts of the world. And you can go look at these mummies. Their tombs are still there. Where is a grave of anybody in the Bible? Anybody. Why do you believe this? At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to me. I get what you believe. I know why you believe it, right? Well, I know why you believe it. I know how you believe it because you were indoctrinated with it. I know. I was too. Now, my question is, why do you believe this stuff with no evidence to back it up? Your personal experience is not evidence. That's just some personal experience you have. Let me tell you the problem with a personal experience. The problem with a personal experience is I wasn't with you. I can't prove it. Nigga, you might have been on drugs when that happened. You might have been drinking a little bit. You might have had a crazy moment or something in your personal experience. I can't prove your personal experience. That's the problem with personal experiences. I wasn't there. I can't prove it. I don't know what you were doing when your personal experience happened. I don't know what you were thinking when your personal experience happened. I don't know what you were going through mentally in your head when your personal experience happened that you feel like this was so real. And it had to be a God. A fairy tale, a children's story. Let's remove a children's story and let's add in an adult story about magical and imaginary beings and lands. Don't that sound like the Bible? You can't prove none of them people in that Bible. Ain't nobody got a grave from that Bible. Everything is belief. And there's a lot of magic going on in that book. A lot of magic going on in that book. A lot of magic that don't happen today in reality. Donkeys talking. Nigga, feeding people with 2 loaves of bread and 5 fish, or 5 fish and 2 loaves of bread, however it goes. You fed thousands of people with 5 fish and 2 loaves of bread? What? You was raising people from the dead, huh? And we can't get rid of the coronavirus, huh? There's a lot of magic going on back then. A children's story about magical and imaginary beings and lands. Let's remove a children's story and let's add an adult story about magical and imaginary beings. That's why I call this book a grown-up fairy tale book. And although it's a grown-up fairy tale book, it is still a book of balance, right? It's a book of balance, good and evil, right, wrong, morals and immorals, contradictions, full of it. You see the balance? It's a book of balance. That's all it is. It's teaching you balance. So yes, there's some truth in the book, but you can find truth anywhere in the universe if you pay attention to the universe. Ask yourself this: why do you need a religion? Why? Why do you need a religion? Tell me anybody that has died from not believing in a God. Just naturally died because they didn't believe in a God. What's more important, the sun in the sky or the so-called Son of God in that Bible book? What would you say is more important? I've never known anybody to die because they didn't believe in the Son of that God in that Bible book. But I guarantee you, if that sun in the sky burn out, we all gonna freeze like popsicles and die. Nothing's gonna grow. What's more important in reality? See, I'm moving reality, not that belief shit. The sun is more important to me. The sun in the sky is a lot more important to me than believing in some imaginary nigga that show up when he want to fucking show up, or don't show up, or he plays favoritism, or the nigga's too old to be playing hide and seek and peekaboo and shit. He only shows up for people's personal selfish prayer requests, but he don't never show up for the whole world. The sun shows up for the whole world a lot of times. Every day it rises. It shows up for the whole world. You show up for the whole world. You and other people like you show up for the whole world. We can prove this. We can't prove a God doing anything. This is the shit I say to motherfuckers when I debate with them or we have the conversations on religion or why I don't believe in the existence of any gods. As I was saying, I never say there is no God because there could be a God. He could just be an asshole sitting up there watching all this bullshit and this evil he created. Or there could be no God and we're here all alone. And because of balance, we have evil here. We have good here. And you have free will to choose which one you want to do. Either you want to be a fucked up ass person in the universe or you want to be a good person. You don't need religion for that. You don't need a religion for that. And you don't need a relationship with some God to learn right and wrong and decide which one you want to do. I don't believe in a religion and I'm a very good person in the universe. Have I done some wrong? Yes, that was balance. I had to learn the bad, right? I make peace and I create evil. I went through both of them. But now I rock more on the side of good. Why? Because I'd rather be a moral person than immoral. It just feels better. When I say it feels better, it makes me feel happy to be moral instead of sad and angry. You see the balance here? You see, the book is about balance. The world is about balance. The universe is about balance. I don't need a Bible or a religion to help me understand balance. I got about 15 more minutes. So when people bring this Bible to the table, when they want to quote scriptures out of this Bible, they have to help me understand, why should I give a fuck what that book says? Because you believe that book. I don't believe that book. You believe that book. I don't. That book don't hold no weight with me. That book don't hold no weight nowhere in this world except for in your belief, in your religion. It don't hold no weight nowhere else in this universe, not even in a courtroom. There's never been a court case won because somebody pointed out a Bible verse to the judge. And the judge said, oh, well, it's in the Bible. Case dismissed. Nobody. People go in the courtroom and they put their hands on that Bible and they lie on that Bible all the time and win court cases. People go in that courtroom and they say, I promise to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. You have had believers that have went in that courtroom and went in there, put their hand on that book, and they said, so help me God. And I'm going to tell nothing but the truth, and was still found guilty. So now you have innocent people who believed in these gods in prison. And this God didn't help them out. So help me God. And God let your ass go to motherfucking prison as an innocent person. You couldn't even pull up a Bible scripture to show the judge why you shouldn't be jailed. And you're very innocent and you believe in God. You a faithful churchgoer, just got caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, bad situation, misidentification, yeah, right? And you just had faith. You believed, you accepted that your God was going to help you out in that courtroom. Go find out how many people are innocently that believed in that God and still went to prison. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong situation, bad timing, mistaken identity, framed, all of that. And this God didn't help them. But you got a relationship though. Yeah. This God shows up for you personally. Huh? Prayer works for you personally. But it don't work for everybody like you. Huh? Make it make sense now. You're so much more important than the whole world. But this God shows up for you personally. If that ain't some arrogant ass shit to believe, you're blessed and you're highly favored. If that ain't some arrogant ass shit to believe, everybody got a relationship with this guy. But when I say, well, wait a minute, can you get God on Facebook Live? Can you get him to come on Zoom? Can you get God? Now in your relationship, you can't fucking get in touch with this nigga, but he always talking to you any other time kind of way. All these prophets talk to God. But if I come on your Facebook Live while you prophesizing, God told me to tell you this, there's a shift coming, and God told me to, and then when I say, hey, prophet, can we get God on Facebook Live while you sitting here prophesizing? I'd rather talk to God myself. It's always a bad connection. All of a sudden, that relationship ain't so strong. All of a sudden, that relationship ain't so strong no more. Because God's ignoring you too. He don't even show up to fight for you like you fight for him. Jesus don't show up to fight for you like you fight for him. Yeah, we're going to get into these videos. I'm going to close this down. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to step into these videos. We're going to check out some of these videos, and I'm just going to show you how I would break these videos down. You got to make this shit. Let's use common sense. When we deal with religion, man, all common sense goes out the window. Common sense only seems to come back when you're dealing with real life situations. But when it comes to religion, common sense and logic goes out the window. You don't use common sense and logic and reasoning and problem solving. You don't, and critical thinking. You don't use that shit when it comes to religion. But y'all see a hurricane coming, and y'all use common sense and get the fuck out of Dodge. You run to safety. You don't even believe in your faith, right? Y'all think a mask for coronavirus helps you out, but you don't even believe in your God and the faith in your God and your Jesus and your Allah and your Jehovah and your Buddha and whoever you believe in. You don't even believe in that shit. You got fucking mask on and you're going to get vaccinated. Make it make sense. Either you believe or you don't. Either you got faith or you don't. You have faith when when it's convenient. It sounds good. All that bullshit sounds good at the religious pep rally. It's called the religious pep rally because ain't nobody challenging shit the pastor say. What happened to all that faith, pastor? I seen you on the freeway passing me up getting out of town. You just took all our money Sunday about faith. What happened? What happened, pastor? Where'd that faith go? Faith without works is dead. Listen to how that sounds. Listen to that. Well, why don't I just cut out the middleman if I still got to do the work? Why don't I just cut the middleman out? I'm gonna cut faith out. Because see, I can make shit happen. I can make my works happen with believing in me. I don't need the faith. Faith needs me to do the work. I'm going to say that again. Faith needs me to do the work for the shit to happen right. I don't need faith to make shit happen right. I can just believe in myself. I can go make shit happen and make shit happen through cause and effect. Because I did this, the effect is I made this happen. I didn't need faith. Cut him on out. Faith without works is dead. You see how that sounds? You still had to do it yourself. You still had to believe yourself. Prayer doesn't work without you putting in the work, right? You prayed for that job. You prayed for that job. You didn't just sit there and pray and not go fill out an application. You still had to do the work, right? So somebody called you about a job after you prayed. But wait a minute. You didn't just use prayer alone, right? You went and you filled out an application somewhere, or you ran into somebody and talked to somebody before. Cause and effect. Because I filled out an application, someone called me for a job. It just so happened to happen after I prayed. What a coincidence. Because I talked to somebody and I had told them I was looking for work, they remembered me. And they just made a phone call to me. It just so happened to happen after I prayed. What a coincidence. But because I did something, because I made something happen, the effect was something happened. There was a result. Ain't nobody calling me for no job just because I prayed. People don't even know I exist. Why can't I just pray that they know I exist and they call my phone and say, hey, you need a job? I heard your prayer come through. Your prayer came across our desk. Come on, man. So why don't I just cut the middleman out? Because this guy, when we pray to this motherfucker, he picks and chooses who he wants to answer and who he wants to ignore, who it wants to answer or who it wants to ignore. Facts. If we're going to go along with your guide in your relationship. What type of relationship is that to have? This nigga don't even want to be seen in public with you. This nigga this your father and you ain't got one picture with him. You ain't never seen his face. What kind of relationship is this? He see you getting your ass whooped by these atheists down here with that belief shit. He don't show up to fight for you. You pray for the world. He don't show up. He ignore your prayer just like he ignore other people's prayer. I've seen this God answer evil people's prayer. People pray to get away with crimes. And he helps them get away because they prayed. But I've seen people have prayer warriors around praying for sister such and such eyes to open up out of that coma. She was hit by a bus that God didn't warn her about. God, let that young lady go. She was so young, got hit by a bus. God didn't even warn her the bus was about to jump the curb, to move out the way. He didn't even take his hand of love and move her over. This God is some shit. I'm going to shut this down right now. Yeah, your relationship with these guys is some bullshit. Your personal experience doesn't prove the existence of any God at all. I can't tell you what you were doing when you had your personal experience. You could have been geeked the fuck up and had that fucking experience. I'm not saying your experience didn't happen. I'm just saying that happened to you. We can't prove that shit. So it doesn't prove the existence of a God. It proves you had a fucking personal experience. You had a dream that was so real to you that you're trying to convince me because it was real to you, it should be real to me too. I'll be back with part 2.